Hey everyone, how's it going? I am Paulie and Lou, and we are going back in time. This is episode number 4.
Four. That's awesome, man.
Surprised we haven't gotten canceled yet. Jeez.
Don't say
No,
that. Don't joke.
yeah, no, we are really just. I want to thank everyone that's been listening, all the downloads, just on Apple and just on Buzzsprout. I mean, we are overwhelmed with just humbled by what's going on out there with you guys. So thank you so much for everyone that's been out there and listening to us and actually enjoying us. Just two brothers talking about things that were part of our lives, and maybe to some people it might be boring, but to us it's important. And apparently, a lot of you guys are liking what we're talking about, so we're going to keep doing it.
Yeah, we'll do it as long as we find it interesting and enjoy doing it, and essentially we do this all the time, right, bro? I mean, we get together and we talk about this stuff, so why not share it?
I feel like we've done this episode at least 10 times in our lives already because we do it all the time.
Uh,
And it's so, yeah, it's fun, and it's also a great way for me and you just to spend a little time together and talk and laugh and bring back some great memories that happened to both of us. So
yeah,
uh,
absolutely.
why don't you want to take us into some stat numbers? I talked about all the downloads and people listening to us. You want to go a little bit more in depth with that real quick?
Yeah, what's great about this is obviously we talked last week about the ability for us to kind of see where people are downloading from and how many and all that kind of stuff. And what was really cool about last week was we joked that we went global because we had someone in Asia
Yeah.
download us. Well, guess what? We're going to be international superstars now, bro. We got somebody in Europe
Okay.
and in India.
Wow.
So another Asia. So we've got two in Asia and one in
In Europe.
yeah, and that's in Hungary. I might as well just say that. So that's pretty darn cool.
That is pretty awesome. That's actually blows my mind because I don't know anyone in India or Hungary. So, but
Well, I know
thank
people
you.
in India because I've been there, but yeah, that's kind of neat. So hopefully, either they're picking us up by just catching it, coming across it, or someone has shared it, and we appreciate all the shares out there.
Yes, absolutely.
We just, we're doing this for fun, but it's nice to kind of see people sharing it and hopefully enjoying it.
Yeah, I
All right.
agree 100% with you on that one. Sure.
Okay, so we talked about countries, but here's now the other goal was to get into 50 states.
Great.
Bro,
We're
guess
are we
how
getting
many?
close?
Guess how many we're in right now? Don't go too
Uh,
crazy. We were at like 16 or 17 last week.
okay, 17 last
Or
time. I'm going to say 25.
25 states. We are halfway there, bro.
God, I'm good. 25 states. Wow, that's awesome. Still waiting for Canada too, right?
Canada has not chimed in yet. So, I thought maybe the Letterkenny reference would help something, but I guess we'll have to share it on some other pages or something. So,
Well, let's hope so. Let's hope we can get Canada and the rest of the 50 state, the other 25 that are missing.
that's right.
And
That's
that'd
right.
be awesome. Thank you guys.
And I thought this week it might be fun to talk about like where in the states are the downloads happening. So we're gonna give you guys the top 10. So starting at number 10, Underwood, North Dakota.
Underwood. Okay,
Pretty
thank
neat,
you.
huh?
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you guys.
Number 9, Phoenix.
Arizona.
That's right.
Thank you to our. I guess that would be also a lot of North Dakotas go down to Arizona for the winter,
Yeah,
but
there you go.
and it's almost winter here, so I think it started last week here in North Dakota. So
Yeah. Uh, you know what? I'm sorry. I messed up. It's sorry. Number 10 was Egan, Minnesota.
I don't need. Oh, Egan. Okay, I don't
Yes.
know, but
Number
sure.
I'm sorry. Number 9 was Underwood. Number 8 is Phoenix.
Okay.
Number 7 is Minot.
All right, Minot. Thank you guys. The Magic City.
That's right. And then we've got Fargo.
Fargo. All
And
right.
and then this is kind of neat. So we've got all this North Dakota stuff happening, which we assumed, but now in fifth spot is Atlanta, Georgia.
Wow.
Yeah, that's cool.
Thank you, Hot Lana.
Hot Atlanta. And then we've got number 4, Chicago.
Chicago. My kind of town.
Yeah. and and then we've got Minneapolis.
Thank you, Minneapolis.
I did it again. I'm sorry. I bounced right over it. The big important one, rugby.
Rugby.
Rugby is third. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, that's fantastic.
So rugby, we got to move you to number one, guys. So let's go rugby. Go
Yes, yes.
Panthers.
Then Minneapolis, and then finally, of course, where do you think, bro? What's the number
How
one?
about I'm gonna have to say Bismarck.
Bismarck, North Dakota, your home base.
That's my home base. So thank you all my friends and fans listening in on Bismarck.
So I thought that was kind of neat to kind of see, where that's coming from. And then you've just got all over the country, Louisiana and Maryland and Massachusetts and all kinds of great places. So,
And I saw
mm,
some Jersey. I saw some California.
yeah,
So that's
yeah,
pretty cool. That's really awesome. So thank you very much, guys, for doing that. Um, so do you want to recap a little bit real quick about last episode, just to kind of, and not a long recap, just a short one.
sure. So last week we talked about really our move from steel to rugby and kind of the impact that had. We talked a lot about kind of what was going on in rugby at the time. And I know that it's funny when I posted the episode this time, I kind of apologized because I realized I made a couple of mistakes when I was describing some of the businesses that were there. So we have that little bird that likes to kind of chime in and let us know
Mm,
when we're wrong and stuff. But um, this one I caught myself. I had said that downtown there was we had the jewelry stores, the drug stores, but the clothing stores I said was Leans, and no, that's the jewelry store. But actually the clothing stores, which was there was a like women's and then a men's, was Myri's.
that's it.
So that was my mistake. And then that mama bird of ours decided to let us know that the show that we discussed in last episode was actually the Gong Show. It wasn't just like a talent show. So, if you remember back in the '70s, the Gong Show was on TV with Chuck Barris, and it was all like goofy, unknown comic stuff, and it's just outrageous. So, Rugby did their version of that. That was a lot of fun. So they actually had a gong and they did all that kind of stuff. So there's more memories from that, but I think for the most part, that's kind of how that went.
And of course, I got the same. I got a text message from Mama Bird as well, telling me about
Mm.
the Gong Show. So um, we've been getting Mama Bird corrections. I've been getting them for 50 years, and you've been getting them longer. So we're kind of used to that. So
Yeah, I got a feeling this is going to be a regular installment of the show. So
yeah, it might just be a separate podcast called Mama Bird. I'm not
yeah,
sure. We'll see.
well,
Let's not push that. Thank you.
yeah, yeah, Mama Bird's going to get a big head if we do that. So anyway,
Already there. Already there. Okay.
all right, so that's so then we talked about the band and how so when I played at the Gong Show, I met the guitar player of the band that we would go ahead and start when I was a sophomore, and I think that's kind of where we left it.
Right, and you left it at you met. It was Mark Buechel was the guitar player that you met, and you guys. How long after that meeting? Well, before that, uh, as a drummer, and we talked a little bit about Buddy Rich. That you were a big fan of Buddy Rich when you were young, and used to watch him on Johnny Carson and everything. Who are some other, not local? Let's not talk local people yet. Let's talk about big celebrities that you looked up to as drummer, other than Buddy Rich.
Well, at the time, I think the main influence I had because I was such a big fan of them were the Beatles, and so watching Ringo play was kind of a style I wanted to somewhat emulate a little bit because sometimes he doesn't get credit for really how good he was. He
Yeah,
was
it
quite
doesn't.
the player, and some people think it's simple, but you listen to some of those recordings and just watch the way he played. I really appreciated his style. And then I remember in the '70s, there was Keith Moon, from the Who,
Of course,
and
yes.
then another one that I had a lot was because of the flash of it all was from Kiss, Peter Criss. the
Oh
whole
yeah, he was
cat
great.
makeup and everything, and rock and roll all night. And so those early on were the ones that influenced me, in the 70s going into the very early 80s.
Now, when did you start actually playing drums? When was like the first time you kind of started? And I'm not saying like just banging on the drums at home. I'm talking about actually like in school, doing that whole kind of thing.
Yeah, so I started taking lessons through the school when I was in sixth grade, and then seventh and eighth had graduated to the drum set. And in steel, there was a drummer there that I just completely admired and really influenced me. And he took time to also teach me as well. His name was Donovan Schnabel, and the guy. I think he probably plays till this day. He's just a phenomenal player in North Dakota. And I remember they had a little three-piece band that would play, and we'd walk to their house because they were like a garage band. They would go ahead and they
Okay.
play. I don't remember them playing a lot of gigs necessarily, but they would play out in their garage, and I would just sit there and just watch them.
Yeah.
And the guys were great bunch of people. There was the Deers brothers, and Donovan, and I forget what they called themselves, but I remember when we had the restaurant in Steel that they played a show there, and Donovan would do what's the song?
I don't
The
know the
big
songs.
the Big Bopper song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Chantilly Lace.
Chantilly Lace. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome.
Um, and so he would get up to sing that. Well, he would sing and play. This time he let me sit down and play the drums, and I got to play with the band. And this was when I was, I think, in eighth grade, and it was just a great moment because and that was the first time I really played for a crowd, I guess.
Wow, that's
And
awesome.
yeah, seventh or eighth grade. And so when he left to go to college. I took over, as I had mentioned, that I took over as the drummer for all the bands in Steel at that time. So yeah, so that's kind of how it started.
And and I came across Donovan a few years ago on Facebook, which is funny, and we kind of did some messaging back and forth, and he remembered you right away, and so I hopefully he's a listener, and if he is, well, Donovan, you left a big impact on my brother, so thank
Yeah,
you.
absolutely. I think, yeah, thank you. Absolutely.
So now
Yeah.
so now we're in rugby, so here you are, you and Mark Buchel are putting together a band. Um, who else becomes part of this band with you? Um,
So at the time, Mark was friends with Brian McIntyre, and Brian McIntyre was a bass player. So Mark convinced him to join the band, and then that's the first time I met Brian, and Brian and I became best friends. So all through high school, we were friends, and to this day we're friends. And as a matter of fact, I was texting with him today as we were talking about kind of the old times, and there was always a joke we could never keep a vocalist around long enough, and we always had a kind of a revolving door. So we were having kind of a discussion on who the heck was who sang with us before, when did they sing with us, that kind of stuff. So it's kind of funny.
so that's good. So you, Brian, and Mark get together. You start, jamming, playing together, getting your stuff down. Who was your first singer that came in to play with you guys?
So this is the what's up for debate here. I seem to remember that it was Eldon Brozart,
Okay, yeah, Eldon.
who's since passed, unfortunately, and
Um,
is my brother-in-law. And I seem to think he was the first one. So my recollection is that it was Eldon, and then we went to Troy Bader, I believe, is how it went.
and Troy Bader's father was the superintendent, correct?
He was a superintendent
Yeah.
of the rugby schools, and Troy was a very nice guy. Um, and I remember that he liked kind of the softer songs, and so playing some of the more rock songs he wasn't as comfortable with. And then on the flip side, Eldon enjoyed doing the country stuff because we played a lot of mixed stuff. But his love was he loved dance stuff. He loved like Casey and the Sunshine Band, and let's face it, we weren't that kind of band, right? We
Well,
really wanted to
you needed a horn, section, so that probably
horn keys, yeah, which we didn't have. We were,
yeah.
a simple three piece at that point with a vocalist. So, but
But a simple three piece, as you say, and again, as being the little brother, and I'm watching you guys play. You guys were great. You guys were a great band. I mean,
well,
you really
for
were.
rugby, I guess we were
Well,
maybe right.
still, I thought so, but
We had yeah no thanks so we had a great time, and speaking of time, I remember when we were trying to come up with a name, and it's funny. I don't we just spent a lot of time trying to figure out something, and nothing was sticking. And then someone, I can't remember who said this. Someone said, "What about the spice thyme?" And I'm like THYME, and he goes, "Yeah," and I'm like, and I thought that sounded way too earthy, and so then we just said, well, it time, so let's just spell it TYME, and so we just became Time, and not to be confused with Morris Day and the Time, but we
little jungle love right there.
yeah, yeah. So that's how
That would have been great if you guys did that song, and I could have came out with Mirror. Mirror could have looked at it, could have did a little dance out there with you guys. That'd have been great.
I tell you, I love the shtick. I love that. It's so funny. But yeah, so then that's how
And
we
I
became
also
Time.
remember a phrase you guys would always say. Wouldn't you always say, "Time is short, and so are we"?
Yeah, it's so funny because all of us were roughly about 5'8", and so somehow I think I coined it, but I'm not But I remember we used to always say that time is short, and so are we. So that used to be our little thing.
And those of you that don't know, me and my brother, we probably have both been 5'8" since we were about 4 years old. So we haven't really grown very
No.
much. So thank you, Dad and Mom, for being short. But yeah, so I always remember that phrase, "Time is short, and so are we." But
Yeah, yeah.
good stuff. So did you guys? So as you guys continued to practice and play, did you guys have a lot of gigs right away, or was it what was that like?
Yeah, so we would like rent the hall or get asked to play weddings, things with the schools, like certain events we would play, I don't know if it was quite once a month, but we practiced a lot. So we were always playing, and we were playing, we'd play outside. We'd try to do all kinds of different things. So it was all about getting the practice down and building the set list, because we wanted to get ourselves where we could play 4 hours worth essentially. So we would try to get our set list to be, we'd have a country set. You're in North Dakota, you want to have a country set. We'd have a Beatles set. We play kind of a mix thing with Bachman Turner Overdrive, Eagles, Bad Company,
That's a
stuff
good
like
set. Yeah.
that. The Cars we would play. So we would try to play a nice mix of music, and we got to the point where we got actually pretty good at it. But the problem always made it rough was the changing singers, because some of the
Yeah,
singers couldn't do some of these songs.
yeah. Ideally, what you guys need about four different singers in your group, and you would have been okay.
Yes, yes, that's about right.
So,
But yeah.
so you talk about the weddings and the things like that. Did anything like big happen with you guys, like as far as like a battle of the bands kind of thing or anything like that? Did you guys do anything like that? Because I
It's
kind of remember something like that, but I don't know. I could be wrong.
we played a show in the school, but I don't know what year that was, where we had a lot of different acts, and I remember some people from Leeds came in, so a whole bunch of bands came over, or acts, so to speak, and I remember taking part in those, and those were a lot of fun. But the biggest event we had, what happened, I think probably like '83 or so,
Okay.
was the Geo Jam.
Okay.
So I don't
Yeah.
know if you remember that.
No, I do, and I think that's what I might be thinking of. I think I do remember that, and I guess I kind of thought it was a battle of the bands kind of thing, but I don't know. I'm wrong about that. So
Yeah, no, yeah, it was just that, but it was a lot of fun. And unfortunately, so there's like three bands played. We were the co-headliner, and it rained
oh,
halfway through our set, stormed, washed out the show. But
oh man.
yeah, that was kind of crazy.
Well, that's awesome. That yeah, and it's nice because people in rugby that lived in rugby, I mean, they do remember you guys. I know that because you guys had a following. And me being the younger brother of you, even though my name is Paulie,
Mhm.
I was little Louie. No matter everywhere I went, I was, hey,
I
there's little
remember
Louie.
that. Yep.
And I used to get me so mad sometimes. Like, I do have a name, geez, but it's also kind of cool too to be, the little brother of, someone that everyone in town like kind of like admired and looked up to these guys. And, of course, every time I saw you guys play or, saw you play the drums, I was always very proud and everything. So it was a good thing, to be a part of that from a younger kid perspective.
Sure.
I wasn't out there doing the stuff, but I was the little brother that was like, hey, that's my brother who just played, and people would be like, kids in my class that had older brothers and sisters in your class were like, oh man, your brother, man, he's a great drummer and all that kind of stuff. So that was kind of cool stuff. It was good to be part of that.
Well, I tell you, yeah, I loved being in rugby. I loved those years in rugby, and they were a wonderful time for me. And even though my playing days were pretty short lived, I made the most of that time, and it was a lot of fun. And just appreciated the support. The community support was really something,
Oh
and
yeah.
that's what I just loved about rugby. So, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm grateful.
it was. Yeah. And I think during that time I was in fifth grade, 81, I was in fifth grade at Little Flower Catholic school. And we talked about a little bit of that last episode, but for me, there wasn't a whole lot going on. So there's really not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot for
Yeah,
me to talk about. Sorry, I was a boring fifth grader. There wasn't a whole lot going on. It was, go to the arcade and dropping quarters and Donkey Kong, and things like that. So,
sure, sure.
so you had a lot more stuff going on being in high school, being sophomore, junior at this point in 81. And then, of course you graduated in 82. So,
Yeah, they were
yeah.
just great, great, great years. And I've got to mention this. I had only mentioned two of the singers, and I want to make sure that we mention all of them. And we may, when we talk more about 1982, talk about the one that stayed with us the longest and had the best, the most impact on us. I think we had Eldon. I talked about. We talked about Troy Bader, and a little tidbit on Troy Bader. And so this is kind of neat. Troy Bader is the CEO of Dairy Queen. So we
Oh my
had
God.
we had a we had a CEO, a future CEO, sing with time. There you go.
I wonder if he actually wrote any of the jingles for Dairy Queen, right? Since he was a singer, maybe. I don't know.
I think that's
Gotta
pretty.
get that dilly bar, the dilly bar.
I think that's pretty damn cool. So
Oh, that is awesome. And
yeah,
so who was the other singer
and
out
then
there?
we actually had we had other people. So this is where we had one girl that definitely played with us for a while. Her name was Lois, and Lois was with us for a bit, and then after we Lois left us, and we had other people kind of like do some fill-in things. We had some duets. It was a complete, just a mess. It was just, it's like somebody just come and sing at this point, just walk up the street.
Captain and Tennille coming in, like that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
little guest things, yeah, right. And then our final singer was John Erickson, and John Erickson was in the class, behind us, but he brought a lot of stage presence and had more fun with it, and so we definitely probably did our best with him.
And I remember meeting John. He was a lifeguard at the swimming pool
Yep,
during the summer, and I
yep,
remember that's where I met John.
yep.
And yeah, I guess he would say like and nothing against any of you guys, but he was that front man, that David Lee Roth kind of guy.
Right. Yeah.
The girls liked him. He was like and not that they didn't like you guys, but I'm just saying he brought, like you said, he brought that front man presence to the band,
He
took
did.
it in a different perspective, and nothing against Troy or anyone else, but Yeah, you're right. Troy was kind of like, I want to sing a love song to you.
Right. Right, right.
Yeah.
About dilly bars.
Yeah, about dilly bars. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Uh,
Come on in, get that blizzard. We should probably get Dairy Queen as one of our sponsors now. Geez, we just gave him a bunch of hype.
well, yeah, come on, Rugby Dairy Queen. Come on, let's
Come
go.
on, let's go. Troy, if you're listening,
Yes.
throw a sponsorship in our way, buddy. Come on, let's do it.
Or at least throw us a dilly bar.
I'll bring you a dilly bar. I
Yeah.
got the Dairy Queen right down the street from
All
me.
right.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
All right. So
Good
that's
stuff.
cool.
So that's yeah. So I think that's enough to kind of chat about on that.
Well, and Lou, I wanted to talk about that because that was, for like I said, people our age, your age, that was a big part of rugby at one point. Your guys' band was a big deal. Like, whether or not it lasted, 3 years, 4 years, whatever, it was still a big part of rugby. And like you said, the people, supported it. People were behind it. You guys had 27 singers. So, I mean,
Yeah.
a good portion of the population sang for the band. So, I mean, I wanted to make sure people did talk about this, and we talked about it. So,
Well, I tell you, what would be kind of fun, and I don't know if we can pull it off or not, but it'd be great if we get Mark and Brian to, appear and so we could talk to them about some of the goofy stuff that happened because Brian can tell a story. I'll tell you that, and Mark's a character, so it'd be fun times if we could do that. But
Brian saved my life one time with my broken ankle.
he did. He did.
Yep. Always scooped me up and took me to the hospital with a broken ankle. Yep. And then I was friends with Mark's younger brother, Mike Buchel.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yep. So so that's and those of you that know Mike, Mike Buchel. He's a crazy one.
All those Beagles are kind of crazy.
Yeah,
actually.
they are. They are kind of crazy.
But they're a great family, great bunch. So
they are awesome. So what do you want to talk about now, big brother? Do you want to talk about?
Let's dive into the music a little bit. What do you think?
Let's go for it.
Yeah,
you got some stuff for us?
I got some stuff. So 1981 was seemed to be the year of the love song because I'm looking at the charts, and the number 2 song that year was "Endless Love." You remember Lionel Richie and what's the groan for? The cheese.
Oh, okay. So "Endless Love" was my wedding song, and let me tell you, that love was not endless. Let me tell you that right off the bat, it wasn't. It should have been. It should have been Belle Biv DeVoe "Poison" is what it should have been. But anyway, but no, I mean, great
Which
song.
is better to dance to, actually. Anyway.
Oh, much better. Yeah. I could have danced in a different room. But yeah, "Endless Love," obviously Lionel Richie, Diana Ross, great song. Just not a favorite of mine anymore.
Gotcha. Can understand.
Yeah.
And then also "Lady," Kenny Rogers.
Oh, Kenny Rogers. Yeah.
So that was it. And then kind of an interesting top 10. You had like 9 to 5 was in there.
Dolly Parton.
Yep. You had "I Love a Rainy Night."
Eddie Rabbit.
And I love that song.
That's a good song.
It was like country pop stuff. It's like the crossover stuff that we see today, which was happening back then. Which is
right, exactly. Yeah, it wasn't like that old, Myrtle Haggard and Conway Twitty stuff.
Right. Yeah. And then you had number 5 song was "Jesse's Girl," which
Rick Springfield,
huge hit.
I still play that to this day.
Oh
I DJ and stuff. Yeah, it's a great song.
It's kind of just like an 80s go-to.
It is, yeah.
You had "The Best of Times," Styx.
Good song.
You had, let's see, "Hungry Heart," Bruce Springsteen. So I don't know how that Bruce was he wasn't big in North Dakota. He's a Jersey boy. So
well, yeah, he's from New Jersey, and Jersey loves Bruce just like they love Bon Jovi. So two big Jersey acts.
Yep. Neil Diamond, "America."
Oh, I'm coming to America.
Yep, from the Jazz Singer.
The Jazz Singer. Yep.
That's right. You had Christopher Cross, Arthur's Theme.
I never liked that damn song. I
didn't think it was going to evoke such a reaction from you.
I'm sorry, everyone. Those of you that love the song, I apologize. I just was never a fan of that song. I was never a fan of Christopher Cross, though.
Oh, I love "Right Like the Wind."
right, even like sailing and all that. So I
Oh, I
just
like that one too. Yeah.
yeah, okay. Well,
Okay.
I we'll agree to disagree. How about
There
that?
you go. That works. That works.
If we agree on
uh,
anything, it won't be any fun. You know what I'm saying? So we
that's
have to disagree
exactly
a little
right.
bit.
That's right. But the number one song,
Okay.
Betty Davis Eyes,
Kim Carnes.
Kim Carnes.
That was a good song.
That was a huge song.
Yeah. That was
And
big.
and the whole slapping stuff was kind of interesting.
Yep.
That whole thing
Yeah.
was going on through.
That was a great. I like that. That was a good song.
That
That
was a
was
really good song.
81 though was a big year though, right? I mean, what happened in 81 that was huge, Lou?
Well, if you guys all remember, we may have alluded to this in the previous episode. That was the start of MTV. We've talked about some of the videos and the shows that we used to watch when we were kids,
Right.
and we didn't have MTV at the beginning. So we had to rely on stuff like the other shows to catch videos from. Because here we are, 24 hours of music television, where there initially was they just hit you over the head with videos, 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 and that was pretty new. And we didn't get to experience that right away. I forget when we actually got the cable to watch it, but it was definitely well past the 1981.
I had probably like at least a year after,
Yeah, I think
if
so.
not even longer. But we did rely on what was it that we used to watch when we had the
Like
videos?
the night tracks. Remember that we watched night
Night Tracks
tracks.
on
Yeah.
TBS.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a big show, and I remember it came on at like 11:05.
That's right. The '05
Oh
thing.
fives,
Yeah,
yeah.
or the 35s.
And,
Yeah.
and you know that's where we saw a lot of our music, from that, like you were saying, and a lot of videos that the video generation of that was like, wow, you're watching a movie, you're watching a production, and things like that. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and actually the US was a little bit kind of behind the times on some of the videos because um, videos in the UK had been happening for like 5 years before that.
Oh
They
yeah,
Top of the Pops was their big bandstand, and they featured all these artists, or TRL. Top of the Pops featured all these acts coming in to play, whether it be live or lip sync it all, but they featured all the artists on there. So if you can ever catch on YouTube some of the old Tops of the Pops episode, they had everybody. It's fantastic.
well, and it also seems too like later on in life, like as we got older, they would show like a video of like the Rolling Stones in the
Yep.
'70s.
Yep.
And so I'm like, well, how come we didn't see that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
like
Yep.
till later on in life? So I guess that makes kind of sense that, the again we talked about the UK artists and the music, and not that they're superior to the American artists, but there's a lot of talent that came out of there.
Sure.
Um,
Yep. So I think everybody knows the classic trivia question is, what was the first video played on MTV, right?
of course.
Yes. And for those of you that don't know, of course, it's the Buggles, Video Killed the Radio Star. But what's the second one
Now,
played?
I know this because I have done this trivia to people. So the second video that was ever played on MTV was Pat Benatar, and
Correct.
it was "You Better Run."
Correct. Correct.
And
And
that was it. So yeah,
yeah, and so sometimes it's fun to kind of play with someone where you say, okay, who was the first guitar player to ever play on MTV? And people start thinking about what's the Buggles, and there's no guitar player in Buggles. So it was Neil Giraldo, obviously, with Pat Benatar. So sometimes it's fun to kind of play that. Amazingly, the artist that was played the most on MTV
yeah.
was
Oh,
played 16 times in the first 24 hours.
so
Guess who that was?
you figure a video is about 4
Ha-
minutes.
and he had 11 videos played in
Oh
the
my god.
first day.
Okay, I have
You
no
can
idea.
guess.
Oh my god, 81.
81.
Oh man, I don't even know. I am seriously stumped.
Rod Stewart.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't
So
know that at all. That was just
So I
crazy.
guess like if you think I'm sexy, like or that kind of stuff, were those some of the songs? Like what were
So
the
yeah, so like She Won't Dance With Me, which I don't even really
I don't
remember.
even know what that is. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
Then let's see what else you had. Sailing by Rod Stewart. I kind of remember that one. Do You Think I'm Sexy? Of course, that was played
Great
twice.
song.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That was my theme song, everyone. Just
Ain't
so you
Ain't Love a Bitch. I think they were just pulling out, anything they could. Tonight's the Night. That's another good song.
that's a good song. Yeah,
Yeah.
tonight's the night. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, let's face it, at the time there was probably some limited content that they had. So they just took what as much as they had and they played it and they just played it in heavy rotation. So, but the other thing that was really pretty interesting to me was there were some artists that were played 5 times.
Okay.
And one of them was The Who, and
Okay.
they played You Bet,
Good.
which is a
Great.
really
Great
good
song.
song.
Yeah. Good song.
The other one was In the Air Tonight, Phil Collins.
Okay.
So you can kind of see that happening. But here's the one that really threw me. And we love this band because they're a Canadian band and they were
Oh
North
yeah.
Dakota loved them. Uh, April Wine, Just Between You and
Uh,
Me. Yeah.
Great song, man. I
Yeah.
loved April Wine.
Yep.
They were awesome.
They were. And so I thought that was pretty neat that they played 5 times in the first 24 hours.
Well, that's crazy. And when August first came on in 1981 and MTV started, we had, they had VJs, video jocks that
Yeah.
would do the videos and stuff. So a lot of them, of course, remember Martha Quinn, Alan Hunter, Mark Goodman, Nina Blackwood, who I think has been smoking cigarettes since she's 2, and then JJ Jackson, who has passed away since then. But those were the original VJs. Now, Martha and Alan and Mark and Nina, they were still doing the serious 80s on 8
Oh,
stuff.
sure. Oh, sure.
And you've also done some 80s cruises and have seen a lot of them, correct?
Yes. So
Yeah.
what's interesting, if I can add, um, when MTV started, they had their idea of having like they had a cast they wanted to create, and each one had to kind of play their role. And they wanted like the girl next door to be Martha Quinn, kind of that rocker girl was going to be Nina, the jock was supposed to be Alan Hunter, um, and then you had the bad boy was going to be Mark Goodman, and then JJ was kind of the wise old guy or something like that. So
Right.
that's so they kind of did that, and that's what they created, and it's a lot of fun since these guys have been. They, I think JJ is the only one that's not still who passed.
He passed away in 2004.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah.
So,
So, but
but I think he was also the oldest out of all of them too. He was much
he
older
was, he
than their
was.
jocks.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So the other ones are still, aside from Martha, are still really doing the other three are really still involved in the 80s and doing the Sirius XM stuff, and then doing the 80s cruises, which I went on 3 of those 80s cruises, which were just a blast.
Right.
And they're easy, accessible. They love to talk about the MTV days, and yeah, Nina's voice is just, I mean, as raspy as ever. It's so funny.
Hey, it's Nina Blackwood. No, I'm sorry. That's nice.
Uh,
Um, but yeah, Martha Quinn was, pretty much the favorite of, like she was like America's favorite video jock because she was, hey, I'm Martha Quinn. She was the happy, peppy, like the fun
yeah,
girl and stuff, and people related to her. I think.
they did
Yeah.
absolutely.
And then, of course, MTV just had such a great run, and now I say great run because you don't see videos on MTV anymore, which is just
No, you
it's just it's reality TV, and it's. Do you remember what the guy's name was that did like the MTV news break?
yeah, what was his name? His name was,
Come on.
hold on. Oh crap.
Little trivia there for you.
Give me the initials.
KL.
Kurt Loder.
KL. There you
Yep.
go. Yep.
Kurt Loder.
And he
I
was
almost
like
said I was saying Schroeder, but I was goofing it up.
uh,
Loder. Mm.
and Kurt Loder was like, he was like, he had that voice. He was like,
Well, he
you
was
know,
a serious journalist.
right.
So he was,
Exactly. I was just
yeah.
going to
So they
say
brought
that.
him on to be that kind of guy, lend. So that way you had someone that had some real, kind of cred behind them.
And when he spoke, people listened to him. He was like, "Oh wow, he's what's he talking about? Like what?" And it could have been like Michael Jackson's new videos coming out. Everyone's like, "Oh my God!" You listen to him because of how he spoke and how he came across on everything.
And used to
So,
love those little MTV news segments because there
oh
could be
yeah.
some breaking news, someone getting arrested for drugs, someone dying or so. It was always
Well,
like
we all know
a
that happened a
heavy
lot in the
moment.
'80s. You could just talk about Van Halen, all the problems
Eh,
they had, and I mean, which is one of my favorite bands of all time. But
Yep,
yeah,
absolutely.
it was definitely, and then the next day at school, everyone was like, "Oh, did you hear about this?" And you talked about it, and or running home to see a video, or because you knew it was like the premiere, and they would announce that the premiere of the new video, and at 4 o'clock, and you ran home to get there so you could watch the premiere of Michael Jackson Thriller or whatever it was. And then videos became movies, mini movies. Thanks to Michael. Michael did that, um, but yeah, so it was an important part of life because it was different than anyone had been. And anytime you wanted to hear music, it was just on the radio. You put a song on the radio, or you put a cassette tape in your car and you listen to music. And now it was like now you're watching the song and you're watching a story with the song. It was kind of cool. So
And I like the stories that went with the song, but then sometimes there's just a music video that made no sense that had nothing to do
no
with
sense.
the right. So it's like, oh, I guess I don't get it.
Okay, here's one video that did make no sense with what was song, and it's "Talk Talk, It's My Life." Do you remember that? It had like
The
animals and like
song
squiggly
well,
lines.
but yeah, I don't, yeah, I can't don't remember the actual format of that video.
It didn't make any sense. There was like little squiggly lines over the screen, and like I think there was animals and like birds would fly away, and it's like it's my life, and the birds take off. I don't know if anyone remembers that video and wants to add on that. Feel free to join and comes comments because I really I love the song, but the video was dumb. So if there's a video out there that you guys remember, go on our Facebook page and comment on that. We love reading, how this time affected you guys, what video you thought was the best, maybe what you thought was the worst. Definitely add some comments for us so we can respond back to you and interact with you guys for sure. What else, bro?
If you hear songs today, you don't relate to a video anymore. I mean,
No.
anything that comes out now, I just don't even think about if there's a video out there. Did I even see it?
Yeah.
Probably not. But when you think of the songs like "Take on Me," "Aha," you
Oh God.
remember that video, right? When you listen to Dexy's Midnight Runners, "Come On Eileen," you remember that video.
Hungry like the wolf, Duran
Hungry like,
Duran.
yeah, I mean, there's just
You know,
so many classics that you remember the video for because that's was so important was the video.
but yeah.
Yeah.
Um, other than that, I mean, as far as you know, the music part we touched, TV shows were all kind of the same already that we talked about. Last week, it was the same shows. It was the Jeffersons and Three's Company and Happy Days and all that kind of stuff. And what do we want to talk about movies at all or
Yeah, I mean, is there anything that sticks out for you for I think one of my favorite comedies was Stripes, Bill Murray and
oh
Stripes.
man, that was so good, so good. Um, Caddyshack, was that around that same time?
I thought that was before Caddyshack.
Oh, was it?
I
Okay.
think
That
so.
Caddyshack is one of my favorite movies. I
Yeah,
love Caddy.
but I think Raiders came out 81.
Raiders of the Lost Ark,
Yep,
really?
yep.
Wow.
Your
What
your
about
favorite Arthur with
oh,
Arthur's theme.
Christopher Cross? Hey.
All right, bro. Another big movie is one I think you like, Cannonball Run.
Oh, one of my favorites. And I don't, and it's so weird because it was just a bunch of actors and this star-studded cast, Burt Reynolds, Dom DeLuise, and it was a race across the United States how fast they could get there and things like that. Well, the movie theater in town, obviously everyone would go to. I believe it was either owned or ran by the Christensens. um, Joanne Christensen was, I think, a couple years older than me. Robert Christensen was in Laurie's grade, I
Yeah, I remember
believe.
Rob. Yep.
And there might have even been an older one too. I'm not even sure, but um, anyhow, I used to go to the movie theater and I would, scrape up. Do you remember how much movie theater, how much it cost? I don't even remember, but
Just it had to be just a
a
couple
couple
bucks. I mean,
bucks,
like maybe I don't know. Maybe it was as much as like $4 or something.
if that, maybe, I don't know. So I probably went to this movie at least 10, 15 times. I mean, and
Or you got the money from.
I think I was robbing mom and dad. So yeah. No, I don't know. I would go and I would literally, sometimes I'd be in the theater by myself. Do you remember in the theater they had the regular section, and they had like the upstairs section?
Right, that's right. I forgot about that.
Okay, so I would go up there and I would sit up there and I'd watch the movie. So now it got to a point that I guess I was watching it so many times that Mr. Christensen just finally gave me the movie poster. Uh,
That's great.
which is hilarious. And I took it home and I put it on my wall and had it on my wall until we left rugby. It was on my wall, so
Yeah, if I remember right, that Burt Reynolds. I mean, it's like they all got together and just had like a party and created a movie around the party because
it,
they were just goofing around the whole time.
it was. I mean, and Burt Reynolds would always slap Dom DeLuise all over the place, and Farrah Fawcett was in it, and and in her prime of Charlie's Angels and everything like that. Roger Moore, James Bond was in it. There was a lot of actors in this movie. Terry Bradshaw, who huge Pittsburgh Steelers fan, so
Right,
and
right.
him in it as well. But yeah, it was it was that kind of thing, and it was like a big party. Cannonball Run 2, not so good, but the Cannonball Run was a great movie, a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it. And you're right, one of my favorite movies. So, um, good
Then
times, good memory.
yeah, Superman 2 came out.
Okay, that was
That wasn't bad one. That was a pretty good one
that
with
was the
with
that was
Zod and everything,
odd.
right?
Okay, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, but I mean, the Chariots of Fire, which probably won wouldn't that win the Oscar? Chariots of Fire.
I never saw the movie, so I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I think
Kind
that's kind of what
I
was
didn't
out.
I didn't see Chariots of Fire, just like I didn't watch Ishtar. Remember Ishtar?
Dustin Hoffman, like the biggest bomb in
And wasn't it like
yeah,
Warren Beatty too?
Warren Beatty. Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
Oh God. If
for
anyone saw
sure.
that movie, I'm sorry. Right?
Sure.
That's all you can say.
They used to be the butt of jokes all the time back then.
It was, yeah, it was. So I just want to say that this is such a better recording that I'm doing on my end, because I think it was episode 2. My daughter was in the background talking, so I have actually kicked her out of the house. She's not allowed here when I record now. So um, she's out and by the doorstep somewhere, just sitting out there. She'll be fine. I have to give her some crackers and a bottle of water. She'll be all
There you go. You're good. You're good.
right. But yeah,
That's too
she
funny.
was in the background. Just I could hear her talking away. So
Yeah, I mean, I guess is there anything else in rugby that we can talk about that stands out?
us coming from New Jersey, and granted, like when we left New Jersey, it wasn't a bad place to be. You know, it got worse later on where it started
Oh
getting
yeah.
bad. But being able just to like leave your bike in the front yard, just like throw it on the grass, and when you went out in the morning, it was there. Riding your bike and people waving to you is just. I guess for me, it's just the whole being comfortable, being happy. Um, and again, like I said, the people there were amazing. You have said that we can't even begin to say how much we enjoyed living there, because it was a great place to be. And we have many friends from there that we are still friends with. I mean, you married a girl from there.
Yep.
So
Yep.
what is that? You're a high school sweetheart. So you there's a lot of history, and rugby will always have a special place in both of our hearts, for sure. you know
Absolutely. Absolutely. I tell you what, I would. You and I know we talked about, can we work on trying to pull off some type of live show so that we could actually get people to call in, and we could talk to some folks that we've either mentioned or that would want to chime in about some of their experiences. That'd be a lot of fun. So
would
we'll
Yeah,
see if we can make that happen down the road. But
I think we could do it on a Facebook Live kind of thing or something like that. Or there's other, there's Twitch, and there's other websites that we might be able to do something like that, and that would be fun. It would be fun to get people interacting with us, and we do want you to interact with us, though. So please, like, comments, questions, anything, just send us a message on Facebook at our Facebook page, Back in Time. You can also we're on Instagram, Music Brothers 2020 at Twitter. I'm sorry, at Instagram, not Twitter. And we also, just send us messages on Facebook. We would love to hear from everyone. And if there's something that you want us to talk about, or something that you want us to we want to talk about, or something like that, as long as it's I'm old enough to remember it, because I was 69. I'm not going to remember 1969. I wasn't born. So, but as long as it's something that we can talk about, we would love to. And if there's something you want us to, add to our show, or something you want us to spend more time on, please let us know. Your feedback's important to us to bring you a good show and a fun opportunity to do that. So,
Yeah, and I think one thing I want to mention is that as we experiment with doing this format and in these shows, um, we did some research to see, well, what's a good performance and stuff like that, and we looked at it, and we were surprised to see that what the average podcast does, we're outperforming that. Now, okay, it's a week we put out 3 shows, but son of a gun, it's kind of cool that we outperform the average podcast. So that makes it a little bit more fun for us, and
yeah,
even though we're kind of, I mean, we're competitive to a point. I think it's just kind of fun to, we'd love to see the numbers go up, right? I mean, it's
of
just
course.
kind of, what you like to do. So, um, I
We
just
want
want
to
to
be the
thank everybody.
best. No.
We want to be Joe Rogan,
Joe
darn it.
Rogan, we're coming after you, buddy. Huge Joe Rogan fan too.
Uh,
But yeah, you're right. Yeah, we want those numbers to skyrocket. I mean, we are doing better than what most podcasts,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, the numbers that I saw, what how they perform, we're outperforming those. So that's good. Now, of course, the big ones are just out of this world, and that's great. But we just if you guys like what we're doing, share it with someone that might enjoy it as well. We appreciate that, and we just want to keep doing it because we're having fun.
I had someone come into I run a restaurant here in Bismarck, and I had someone come into the restaurant and ask if I was working the other day, right? And
Right.
so my server comes over to me and says, "Paulie, someone's here that wants to talk to you." And I was like, "Okay." So I go to the table, and first thing she says is like, "I just want to tell you, your guys' podcast is awesome." So I mean, they're coming to the restaurant, So now I have stalkers, and so now we have to, obviously put a trespass on them so that they'll come and harass me. But no, I'm just kidding. But it's nice. It's nice that people are enjoying it, and for me, being able to in my job, which I love talking to people. I go talk to my tables, and customer service is so important to me. It's nice to have now people are coming in to eat are talking about this podcast, and I can talk about not only our good food but also what we're doing on the podcast. So keep it up. Come and visit us.
That's great. That's great that you get to get that direct feedback in
Yeah.
person, in your face. So that's pretty cool. So.
Yeah, I just don't want to disappoint people when they meet me in person. The voice, sorry guys, this is what you got.
Oh man, that's too funny, bro.
Well,
All right,
endless love, buddy. Endless
yeah,
love.
it's had an effect, an
It,
impact on you.
it has ended.
Uh,
Yeah, it's ended. Oh boy.
all right, should we wrap it up?
Oh yeah, let's wrap it up with a bow. Call it a day.
All right.
Yeah, again, thank you guys. We enjoy doing this. We had a great time as always. Thank you for the continued support. And I guess our plan is kind of doing an episode a week here.
Yeah, so
And then
we cranked out quite a few in a short amount of time.
and releasing our release time is looking like Saturdays, correct? Is that what we're
I
looking
think
at?
I think so. Friday or a Saturday, maybe Saturday kind of works, just so that people can kind of listen to it on the weekend in between football and whatever.
Or those of you that are boycotting football, whatever,
Yeah,
now you got
yeah,
extra time
that
to listen
works.
to it. But feel free. But so that's our plan, and we hope to be able to stay on that schedule. So as always, bro, it's a pleasure. Nice talking with you, man.
Likewise, dude.
Love it. I love spending some time with you and talking about the old times. And yeah, we'll see you next week, right?
Sounds good. We'll do it.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
See you guys. Bye bye.